guys, good afternoon. I apologize, I'm not gonna take my sunglasses off for this video because it is sunny in here and I could not see without them. I'm actually in the greenhouse today. It's nice and warm in here. In fact, it's over 100 degrees. I'm starting to sweat. But it is January and outside it's probably in the upper 20s and there's a little bit of snow on the ground. So that's a good reason to have a greenhouse. You can have a nice place to come and get warm in the winter time. I actually don't have the ventilation fans on, so they're not going to kick on and make a bunch of noise because I'm building this heat up into our water bank that's behind me. I have lots of 50-gallon drums that are collecting this nice heat, and they're going to release it tonight on the plants that are still in here. So it is January, and if you have not ordered your seeds yet, order your seeds. It's time to do that. Hopefully you've already had them at your house, ready to be started for the coming growing season. But if you haven't, then we're here to talk about that. I get the question a lot, where do you get your seed? Where do we get the seed that we use here on the farm to grow? Well, we save a lot of our seed, but we can't save it all. So we end up using some hybrid seeds, some different crops every year that we can't raise, that we don't save the seed for. So we end up buying lots of seeds every year. And so for the last many years, I have ordered from many seed catalogs. That can be confusing because there's a lot of seed companies out there. So people ask, which ones do you recommend? Which ones do you use? So we're going to do the top 10 today. What are the top 10 seed companies that I prefer? And we're going to actually split it into two parts. We're going to do the top 5 seed companies for commercial or market growers. It's a little bit different. And then the top 5 for the backyard grower as well. So we're going to have two different categories, but we're going to have the top 10. We're also going to give a few special awards for merit. And we're going to have 3 bonus tips at the end that you'll want to stick around for. Full disclosure, one of these seed companies we do have some seed contracts for, so we raise some seed for them. So I'm going to let you try to figure out which one that is, and I will tell you at the end. So let's get started. First of all, number 5, we're going to do the commercial seed companies first, the ones that are good for market growers, people that are growing on a larger scale. Well, maybe you're a backyard grower and you have an acre of production. Well, these may be the companies for you as well. I have the seed catalogs here today. So I'm going to show you the seed catalogs because I like to thumb through a physical catalog. But be sure that most of these companies are online as well. So we're just going to look at the catalogs and the seed companies today. So let's get started with our top 5 seed companies for commercial growers or market gardeners. Number 5 is Territorial Seed Company out of Cottage Grove, Oregon. They're an overall just well-rounded seed company that has about what you want. Especially if you're getting into market growing, then they're going to have a nice mix of varieties that will do well for you. They have organic varieties, they have hybrids, they have open pollinated. Pretty much just a good selection. They have some flowers, herbs, so about what you want. They may be a little light on flowers, but they're well suited for the commercial grower. And in fact, I think they have I think this is their commercial catalog, and I think they have a home gardener's catalog. So they have both, but you can order from their website as well. So Territorial, I like them. I've always had good luck with their stuff, and they have lots of good varieties. They're a solid number 5 on the market gardeners list. Number 4 and number 3 I'm going to kind of lump together because they're very similar seed companies. Twilly and Holmes. Twilly, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think that's correct. But I've ordered from them for several years. We get a lot of our seed in bulk, so we have higher amounts. So these seed companies cater more towards commercial growers who need larger amounts of seed. I think some of the smallest packs you can get in these seed catalogs are 100 seeds for tomatoes or peppers. So that's the smallest pack. So you can also get 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. So they're more suited for the larger grower, but they have a really good selection. They have great varieties, well suited for lots of regions around the United States, even though I think Twilly's out of South Carolina, and then Holmes is from Ohio. So they're Midwest and South, if that makes any difference to you. They have decent rebates for ordering, so good prices and good service. I haven't had any problem with them and order from them just about every year. Number 3, Harris Seeds. Harris is out of New York, and once again, just a great seed company for the commercial grower, or maybe even the grower that has a larger acreage in their backyard. Maybe they want to do a half an acre garden, maybe larger seed amounts. Harris does have small amounts, but they also cater to the commercial grower. They have a wide selection of vegetable seed, flower seed. I get a lot of my flower seed for our cut flowers from Harris. We also get some plugs. They broker some plugs, some small transplants that you would pot up and grow out for ornamental uses or even for vegetables. They broker those, so you can order plugs straight from them. You can order some equipment from them. They have some supplies and stuff as well. So just a well-rounded seed company. If you are an organic farmer, if you are certified organic, and that means you have to use certified organic seed to maintain your certification, then they actually produce a dedicated organic seed catalog. So that makes it very convenient for the organic grower, who most of these other catalogs, they'll have organic varieties mixed in with regular conventional varieties, and you have to sort of pay attention to what you're getting. Well, you could just order straight from one catalog and be fine with Harris's organic offerings. And there are a few companies, I think, that do that. And there are a few companies that I didn't mention, and it may not make our top 5 because I don't use them maybe that much. But High Mowing Seeds is one of I think everything in their catalog is organic seed. So that's an easy choice for a lot of organic growers. I know they're very popular with certified organic growers. We're not certified organic. So sometimes that matters, sometimes it doesn't to us. But if it matters to you, I think that's a benefit. Okay, the number 1, and this may not be a surprise for those that have been growing for market very long, is that Johnny's Selected Seeds is our number 1 choice for the commercial grower. It is since the 70s, I think, been a great source for commercial seed for the backyard gardener as well as the market gardener. We've always done well with Johnny's stuff. In fact, I don't think that I've ever got a variety from Johnny's that hasn't performed well for me. So they have some really some favorites that we use every year. They have really good selection of vegetables. They have good selection of flowers. They have lots of tools and stuff that you can use as well, especially geared for the market grower, for those tools that are going to help you to produce and harvest on a larger scale. So they've got some great stuff. Super service. Johnny's has always given us good service, and I forgot to mention that about Harris. Harris has always been good as far as service as well. I haven't had any bad experiences with any of these places. That's why they're on my top 5. But Johnny's especially goes out of their way to serve the commercial grower. And in fact, they were making sure that those commercial growers that had previously bought seeds from them this last year, when seeds were hard to come by, they were making sure that they were served first. Johnny's, thank you for that. That means a lot to those of us who depend on these seeds for our income, that we have to have these seeds at a certain time. We thank you for working with us and making that happen. So hat tip to Johnny's for that. There's I don't know of any negatives other than their stuff is a little pricey, and for some people they're going to look at the prices of Johnny's, especially like individual packets, and say, whoa, those are expensive. But Johnny's works for the backyard grower. If you order larger amounts, they have a good value. So the larger amount of seeds that you pay for, they're going to be cheaper. But individual packets can be a little expensive, but that's the nature of the game. You buy more, you pay less for them. So that may be a small negative, but I have never felt like I have not gotten my money's worth from Johnny's Seeds. So they're number 1 on our market grower list. They almost transferred over into the home grower list as well, because they're a great choice for the backyard grower as well. And an aside is that the catalog is full of growing information that is really helpful as far as planning, as far as germination rates, and all the things that you could possibly want to know about that. Seed catalog is a resource for those things. So hold on to your catalog and use them. Johnny's is a good one. Territorial is also another one that we could transfer over into the Home Gardeners catalog category, but we do have 5 different ones for that, starting with number 5. Number 5 is FEDCO Seeds, and FEDCO is out of Maine. We actually have several seed companies out of Maine. I think Johnny's is from Maine, and then there's maybe 1 or 2 other ones from Maine. But FEDCO Seeds is sort of a cooperative, so they do things a little bit differently. They definitely have a really good mix of product, lots of different types of seeds and varieties of seeds. They'll have hybrids, they have organic certified seeds, they have conventional seeds. So they have a good mix in small amounts. So small amounts for the backyard grower and at reasonable prices. The prices are really good, shipping's cheap, so they do a good job with that. They do have larger amounts, so if you're wanting a little bit larger amounts of stuff, they do have larger amounts as well. I'm going to give them the Merit Award for the coolest catalog because it's mostly hand-drawn drawings, which is just really neat. I always enjoy looking at the art in FEDCO Seeds. I will take away a demerit because they always have political things in here and they always voice their political opinions, which is fine if they want to do that. But most people just want to order seeds. They don't want to hear your political views. So that's a slight demerit, but hey, you know, we're grown-ups, we can get over that. So they do have a good product and pretty good service. I've had some problems with fulfillment of seed orders just because of demand, and they'll be sold out pretty early on a lot of their varieties. So if you want stuff from FEDCO, which I always get some seeds from FEDCO, order early so you don't miss out on that. Another note, their catalog itself is worth it just because they have some great charts in here. Vegetable planting guides, flower planting guides, herbs. These are really helpful charts as far as spacing and timing and germination requirements for their seeds. So that is definitely a catalog that you want to request and have a hard copy of for a reference guide. So FEDCO, good job on that as well. Okay, number 4 on the list of top seed companies for the backyard grower is Seed Savers Exchange. Seed Savers is located in Iowa. I've actually been to their farm. It's a really neat place. If you ever get a chance to visit, go there. They have a large group of people that really believe in saving seeds and our seed heritage. So they're just a great company overall. But they have a seed catalog that I generally order from every year. There are some tried and true varieties that work really well. They're all going to be open pollinated heirloom varieties that you can save the seed from. So if you're saving a seed saver, you don't have to worry about, can I save these seed or not, and they come back true. Seed Savers has you covered. They also produce a yearbook for those that don't really, maybe they're not everything they want is in the catalog, and their catalog stays pretty consistent. They don't add a whole lot of new items every year. They add maybe a dozen or so, it seems. But for the most part, their offerings are pretty consistent. So if they do well for you, then you're doing good with them every year. But maybe if they don't, their selection may not be as wide as some other places. So that may be a slight negative. But it's not really a negative, because if you want more varieties, then become a member of their society and you'll get this exchange yearbook. This has all the listings for tons of seeds that have been saved by members and that are offered by members. So there's some really obscure varieties. Everything you can think of is in here. So that is a great resource to have if you're looking for specific heirloom seeds. Then become a member of Seed Savers and you'll probably be able to track those seeds down. That was number 4. Number 3 is similar, but there's some great differences. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds is number 3. And I would give this one the award for probably the best selection of heirloom seeds. If you're really into heirlooms, you're really into unique varieties, Baker Creek's got you covered. They've got varieties you're not ever going to find anywhere else. They also have a really pretty catalog. So lots of nice pictures. And if their regular catalog isn't enough, you can upgrade to the whole seed catalog, which is actually chock full of beautiful vegetable pictures that you can just enjoy looking through. You know, even if you don't order a seed, you can look through all these great pictures. But you will order seeds, I guarantee it. Once you see some of the varieties they have, you will order their seeds. and maybe their individual packets are a little expensive, but actually they tend to overpack their seed packets, I've decided. So you get a good value for your money there. So Baker Creek, one of my favorites, and they're actually a great seed catalog and a great seed company. Last two. Number two, and now those were sort of specialty seed catalogs, really dedicated to heirloom open pollinated varieties. Now, not every home gardener does only heirlooms, so my top two have a mix of varieties, and that's one reason they're top two. Number two is Vermont Beans Seed Company. Now, if you hear the title of that, you're saying, well, just bean seeds, is that all they sell? No, that's not all they sell, but they do have the best selection of beans of any other seed catalog. So if you're really into beans, then it makes sense that the Vermont Beans Seed Company is your catalog. But they do have everything else as well. And the thing about their selection, they have good varieties of hybrids, open pollinated varieties. And most of these varieties in here are really good for market as well. In fact, I recognize many of these varieties that we grow as our commercial side of our production. They have these varieties offered in small seed packs. So the stuff that we're growing as commercial growers, the home gardener can grow that as well. And they're generally the best varieties. And most of those are hybrids that really perform well, that we found are the top performers in their field. And Vermont Beans Seed actually offers a lot of those. So if you want to just be successful with your gardening, this is a good place to start. Should have about everything you want, about every type of vegetable that you would need, and lots of beans. So if you like beans, that's number two. Number one, very similar but slight differences, is Pine Tree Garden Seeds. Now, Pine Tree also has a good mix of heirlooms, open pollinated varieties, so you can about find what you want there. They have good descriptions, good pictures, and the prices are really affordable. So Pine Tree is out of Maine as well. I always enjoy looking through the catalog because they have a really wide selection of some varieties that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. So I really enjoy Pine Tree as well. They have good prices, good shipping, I mentioned before, and good selection. It's just a great overall. If you wanted to order all your stuff from one seed catalog and have pretty good luck with it at a good price, then that's what puts Pine Tree at the top of our list. So real quick, we're going to add a couple of special mentions, and those are for specialty catalogs like Totally Tomatoes. Now, Totally Tomatoes has a few other varieties of vegetables, but essentially they're tomatoes. So just for tomatoes, this is your go-to catalog. There are some unique varieties you're not going to find other places there. And if you really love tomatoes, which a lot of gardeners do, you got to put in an order with Totally Tomatoes. The seed packets are $2 or $3 a piece, and you can have lots of tomatoes. So anyway, that's a special mention. It's not the overall seed company where you can order everything you want, but if you really like tomatoes, then this one's great for that. The other one is the best regional seed catalog is Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. I really like, if you're in the South and want varieties that do well in the South, heritage varieties from the South, this is your go-to. A lot of seed companies are spread all over the United States. This one is a regional one that's out of Virginia. But if your climate is similar to Virginia, here in Kentucky, we are very similar to Virginia, a little bit colder, maybe not as hot and humid in the summer. But the varieties that do well in the South do well here as well for the most part. So if you really want a Southern flavored seed catalog, then Southern Exposure. And I found some real gems in their catalog as well. So I always pick out a few new varieties from their offerings every year. These are, I think, 100% open pollinated heirloom varieties, so they can be saved. And I've ended up saving a lot of these seeds out of that I purchased from Southern Exposure. So they're a good seed catalog and good seed company. So that's your special mention there. Another seed company that is worth a look is Kittazawa Seed Company out of California. As it says, they specialize in Asian vegetable seeds for 104 years. So they've been around a long time. They have some really unique varieties as far as Asian greens. We do lots of Asian vegetables on the farm, so we really like some of their stuff and some of their varieties you cannot find anywhere else. So if you're really into Asian vegetables, then really take a look at this catalog. You'll really enjoy it. Sometimes they don't have a whole lot of illustrations, is probably one downside. So they have a good description of the green, but it's really hard to tell what the thing looks like without a picture. So they do have some pencil drawings. Without colored pictures, it's really sometimes difficult to see what they look like. So you're just going to have to buy some and try them, and then you can take your own picture. Okay, another note that I'll probably be mentioned, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it. Probably one of the most famous seed companies that didn't make our list is Burpee. Burpee has been around forever, not forever, but a long time. In fact, I have here a seed catalog from Burpee's 1954. And amazing for longevity. We have to give them credit for longevity, for popularity. I just don't order very much from Burpee because they're more for the small scale grower. Their seed prices are pretty expensive, and they do weird stuff like everything in here. It says Burpee exclusive, Burpee exclusive. Really, these are exclusive only to you. A lot of times I think is what they do is they take other varieties that already have names and they just slap Burpee on it. And so it's really the same variety you're going to get somewhere else, but they can put their name on it and charge more for it. I think that's what happens here. So anyway, if you like Burpee, go for it. I know everyone always mentions, do you order from Burpee? No, we don't, but if you like Burpee, go for it. It is definitely a classic, and they do have some really good varieties, I have to admit, and they've been around. This is a really cool catalog. This is a video for another day, so we're going to look at that and some old seed catalogs another day. So our 3 bonus tips that we promised at the front of this video are as follows. Number 1, look for a local seed source. All of these seed companies that we mentioned are probably not in your backyard, and most of them probably don't have a storefront. So it's going to be a mail order, internet order proposition only. So that can put you at a disadvantage when there's a run on seeds because everybody in the country wants seeds, like last year. And a lot of seeds were not available. They were back ordered. You couldn't go and get any seeds anywhere. So find a local seed source. In fact, we have a couple places run by local Amish Mennonite communities that sell seeds in bulk. And we buy a lot of our bulk seeds like corn and beans and things that we need 5, 10, 15 pounds of from them. So there's not a shipping cost. We just go and pick that up at the store. Their prices are a lot cheaper. They don't go for flashy catalogs, right? So they can save money on that. So they're very affordable. You can get a selection of mostly hybrids, some open pollinated varieties as well. So you can get a pretty good selection, and these are local stores. You may have some in your area depending on where you're at. You can also try nursery centers, garden centers. Most of them will have seed racks that come from specific companies. So I see Park Seed, I see Burpee, I see some of these seed companies that we didn't mention, but they'll have seed racks in retail stores. So that's another good source as well. I like to order our seeds where I can sit down, look through a catalog, see the different varieties we have. I like to read reviews on some of the seeds as well. So I'm not one that ever really bought seeds out on a seed rack, but that's certainly an option for you. If you just want 1 or 2 seed packets, then by all means try to find a local source for that, and you don't have to worry about ordering stuff online. Number 2 is sort of related, and that is order your seed early, because when you want seed in May, it probably won't be available. So we start ordering in oftentimes November, December actually, and do most of our ordering is finished by this time of year, which this time of year I think we pretty much have all our seeds on the farm, and we're waiting for a few back orders, but for the most part all our seed is on the farm in January. That's the way we like it, because actually we've already started seeding things. We seeded stuff last month actually, so we have to seed really early in the greenhouse, so we have to have our seed early. For the backyard grower, go ahead and get your seed early as well. And that way you don't have to worry about them running out. You'll get the varieties you want, and there's no stress. Seed keeps for a long time. And in fact, another part of that tip is you can buy last year's seed on sale and then save it for this year. Now, seed by federal law, seed has to be tested and have a certain germination rate, and that's generally, then it's packaged for sale for that year. Now, depending on the seed variety, that seed may be good for 1 or 2 years or 5 or 6 years. So it really depends on the seed. Seed is like tomato seed lasts for 4 or 5 years. So there's no problem buying seed at the end of the season, sticking it in the freezer, and using that for 2 or 3 years. In fact, we do that a lot. We'll find seed that we didn't use all of it. We'll just store it in our freezer, and then we'll use it in the years ahead. If you want to know how long your seed will last in storage, there's plenty of resources for that. In fact, the quickest one I can think of is a chart that is right here in my book on the chapter on seed saving. And I have a whole chapter on seed saving, how to do that. And then there's a little convenient chart here that tells you how long your seed will last in storage. So that's a good reference chart there. It's actually a good reference book overall. So that's a shameless plug for the book, available on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description as well. And that really brings us to our third tip, which is very similar to that one, and that is you are your own best source of seed. So that means if you purchase seed, purchase it in larger amounts. We show you some seed catalogs where you can order some larger amounts of seed. Go ahead and order 2-3 years worth, depending on the variety, and save that seed and have it ready for you when you need it. So do that. Learn how to save your own seed. Learn what it takes to produce pure seed, and start saving your own seed so that you produce on your property your own seed. And that is just a valuable thing to know, and you'll not have to worry about being able to find seeds, order seeds when you want them. You know that you're the producer of your own seed. So that is your own seed bank, your own seed company. That is a good thing to do. So I promised you to tell you which seed company we grow for, and that seed company is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. We have produced seed for them for a couple of years, and really enjoy doing that. Open pollinated heirloom varieties. So some of the seeds you buy from their catalog this year will be from our farm, and that is not a paid endorsement. So we just appreciate their stuff. We hope this video was helpful in some way as you look forward to your garden this year and think about where you're going to purchase seeds. If you have another seed company that you like, go ahead and put their name down in the comment section so the rest of us can check them out as well. And remember, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that now. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. If you have any other ideas or content you'd like to see, then go ahead and put that in the comments below. And we'll see you next time.